Welcome to the Prophecy Club. Our topic today is Russian missiles threaten America. No kidding. Now, we used to teach when I taught a sales course that the best time to overcome an objection is before you get it. So, before any of you notice that I have a bit of a black eye and start thinking that I joined the Black Eye Club in some kind of conspiracy, no. Actually, I got it playing racquetball. I hit the ball against the wall. It came back, hit me square right there, left a little knot on my nose and a bit of a black eye, which I was surprised to see. Matter of fact, I didn't even know I got a black eye until I was shaving this morning. So, anyway. So, no, and I'll continue playing racquetball. I like playing it. I'm not very good at it, but it's good exercise. It's good for me. Okay, so Russian missiles threaten America. Yeah, no kidding. Briefly, I'm going to say, if you want your car to start when the suitcase nukes go off, empshield.com, promo code prophecy. If you want your life savings to be secure when the stock market and things fall apart, 800-200-GOLD. Especially if you have an IRA or 401k, these guys specialize in helping you take your life savings, put it into gold and silver, and in a location close to you. And finally, josephkitchen.com. If you want to eat during the hard times, josephkitchen.com is where I'll send you. Okay, so before I get started, I talked to one of my friends that has an insider. Yes, I know this is hearsay, but at least his insider in Israel says that Israel has no intention of giving the Palestinians a state at this time. I hope not. But nevertheless, it's my duty to inform you it could happen. So I'm not saying, let me give you a disclaimer first, I'm not saying Jerusalem Post is the newspaper, nor that this headline will appear this year. But we are watchmen, and we're doing a good job of trying to watch and see if it does come to pass. But since Jerusalem Post was in the dream, that's a very good place to look. Omrashers in a Palestinian state may be one of the headlines we see this year. Next one may be catastrophe hits America, one of America's greatest times of need, and this might not necessarily be the order they come out in. Israel refuses help to America. Israel is attacked. America sends troops. Chaos reigns as Americans protest help to Israel. Then she heard my voice quoting Dmitry Dudin, the fall of America will start with an internal revolution. And here is the rest of that, and I'm not going to cover all of this. You can pause and read it if you want to. Pause and read, pause and read. Now, let me get to Russian missiles threaten America. I am shocked. I'm shocked at what the Russians have done. I never thought it was this close. But now, with this happening, maybe it is. Russia conducting missile launches off California coastline. This is no longer two guys in the back parking lot kicking sand on each other's feet. This is one of them taking a swing at the other one. This is real serious. I noticed air missions, and I was not in the military. I don't understand a whole lot of what I'm seeing here, but I'm putting it up. So for you military folks or know that someone's in the military, you can perhaps get them to decipher this. But anyway, noticed air missions has been issued off the coast of Southern California, allotting pilots of Russian missile launches to impact in the Oakland Air Route Traffic Control Center. What? Okay, now, again, I'm not certain if I'm interpreting this right, having not been in the military, but I think what it's saying is that apparently Russia, my guess is from submarines, although it could be a floating ship, my guess is they're saying that Russia is going to launch missiles from here, which then fly up and over and land someplace in this area. Now, I don't know what this area is. Surely they're not landing in that area. That's Mexico. It could be. Maybe it's even there. Again, I'm unclear to what this map is saying. I don't know how to read this map. I'll just be honest with you. Surely they're not saying they're sending missiles up here. That would actually be landing on American land. Surely not. My guess is they're saying that probably from a submarine or from a floating boat, they'll launch a missile here. It flies up and over and lands near or just off the coast from San Diego, right close to Los Angeles. Or maybe this is also another target region. Again, I don't understand what it's saying here. But it says less than 30 nautical miles from shore in international waters, they're going to launch these weapons. I do not understand all of this. I don't understand it. And the articles that have read about this does not go into try to explain it. But apparently what it's also saying is that off the coast of, this is, I think this is Alaska. See, it says Barents Sea. Second NOTAM has been issued for missile launches impacts in the Barents Sea above Norway and Finland. Okay, so, no, not Alaska. This would be Norway or Finland. So apparently they've got some kind of launch plan here that's going to land. This looks like property. That doesn't look like ocean. So again, I don't exactly understand, but this is a shot across the bow. This is the guy walking into the bank, raising the weapon and firing in the bank, saying this is a holdup. So this is basically Russia firing inside our, well, landing inside our territory. In this case, Norway and Finland, saying we're ready to go to war. Okay, so this is really, really, really serious. Now, I saw this yesterday, which would be Thursday, on HalTurnerRadioShow.com. I was watching very closely to see if it was on Fox News. I have checked other sources this morning, and so far, the only place I can find this is just HalTurnerRadioShow.com. Now, I don't think that's discrediting Hal Turner. I think it's saying, why aren't the other news sources talking about this? I think they're saying because we want it to happen. We don't want to wake America up. We don't want to stir up the chickens so that they start squawking and somebody has to do something about it. Now, let me remind you, this is May 13th. I'm not going to read the whole thing, just the headline. Russia commences tactical nuclear weapons exercises. Now, this is several days, a week ago? Okay, so Russia said we're going to be doing tactical nuclear weapons exercises. So all of this is not just a dummy warhead. I mean, it is a dummy warhead, but these are practice firings to fire nuclear weapons at America, and in this case, Norway and Finland. Why Norway and Finland? I think I remember an article that says that Norway and Finland is going to join NATO. So this is Russia rattling the cages, okay? Gets worse. I'm not going to read this one either. Russia could blind the U.S. by taking out satellites using a nuclear space weapon. This is back in February of 24. And I started to put it up, but Maurice Galar saw in a vision that there's actually 3 nuclear weapons that go off high up in the atmosphere. One over the east, one over the west, one over the central part of the United States. I've read it a few times. And they all go off at the same time, and those nuclear weapons are not designed to burn or to explode with a big wind. Those are EMPs. Those are designed to take out our communications, which is why you want to have one of these on your car. You want to have one of them on your house. You go to EMPshield.com, promo code prophecy, and the plan is that if an EMP hits your car or your house, this thing stops it. And hopefully our car still runs. Hopefully it doesn't fry the computer chips in our car. These days, I mean, refrigerators, everything has computer chips. These days, if your computer chips are fried, you go back into the 1800s. So anyway, there's several more important points I got to get to. Now, I read this one, I think, 2 days ago. Patriot missile system captured in Ukraine by Russia, given to China. And because Russia says, no, we already got one. China, you can have one. Now, what does that say? It tells me that the Russians and the Chinese are going to take this apart, screw by screw, electronic part by electronic part, every wire, and they're going to figure this thing out. exactly what makes it work, how it detects their incoming missiles, how it goes about shooting them down. Because when you know how something works, you can also defeat it. Now, what does this mean? This may be the reason that when Iran fired these hypersonic missiles, probably made by Russia, I didn't see any article that said it was, but probably, they went right through the best air defenses in the world. Who would that be? That would be Israel. Why would you say that Israel have the best air defenses in the world? Well, because the way this thing works is we make an airplane, we send it to Israel, they make it better. We make a Patriot system, they send to Israel, they make it better. So Israel had the best defense in the world, and 8, according to the article I saw, 8 hypersonic missiles made it through all of the defenses. So now Russia knows we can't shoot down their missiles. In addition to that, they have our Patriot missile systems, which I assume, no one's told us another way to be able to shoot it down. Maybe they have laser or something like that, but we don't know for sure. Anyway, this is definitely one of our major ways, where we would be able to shoot down any kind of missiles from any nation coming to attack America. But now Russia and China have a way to defeat our missile detection, missile defense system, missile defense shield. They have a way to stop or to keep us from stopping their attack. Let me say it again. What this means is that Russia or any other nation can fire whatever missiles they want. Maybe that's not accurate, but Russians, because theirs are the ones that go up and then fall back to the earth, and up and then fall back to the earth, or they go left, they go right, they up, and they down, and they can't shoot them down. Not only that, they're 28 times faster than the speed of sound. So they're so fast, we can't shoot them down. In addition, they can change course and things like that. So what this is saying is Russia is ready to take out America. This is almost a declaration of war. And America's not listening. Why do you say America's not listening? Well, maybe somebody in the government sees this, but if they're not putting it out to the people, that means the people aren't getting, well, I guess I'd say scared enough to get us praying, scared enough to get us go back to church, to get us to start repenting, to get the people that are sinners to receive Jesus. So consequently, the sheeple don't wake up. Now, I've read this several times over the years. This is my favorite speaker, Henry Gruber. So over 25 years, the first 25 years of the Prophecy Club, we had 160 guest speakers. We used to have, at one time we had 3 different speakers, each one on about 13 cities speaking tour each month. There was a time we were having 40 meetings a month. About 5,000 people a month were attending our meetings. I didn't know it at the time, but we were the number 2 prophecy ministry in America, second only to Jack Van Impe. We were, I think our airtime was about $300,000 a month to be on radio and TV. 80 radio stations, 25 TV stations. We had Henry Gruver on a speaking tour. He's my favorite speaker. I love this guy. As a matter of fact, if you've ever heard him, everybody loves Henry Gruver. Anyway, this was a vision he saw when he was out walking and praying. Now, what do you mean walking and praying? Henry was a prayer walker. God would speak to him. He would get a map, and he walked 350 cities around the world. Get a map and walk up and down every street in the city, praying loud, praying in the spirits, pulling down strongholds, loosing the angels to do warfare. When he was done, he would go up over a high point or a high mountain or a high building, raise his hands, and reclaim the city for God, spiritual warfare. That's primarily what he did. And this is what happened one day. He says, I was in Wales, December 14th, 1986. And I went up on top of the Eagle Tower in the Carnarvon Castle. All of a sudden, I was above the earth, looking down on the earth like a globe. I saw all of these massive amounts of kinds of ships and airplanes. They were coming up from Norway out of this inlet. They headed down between the United States and Europe, literally covering the whole Atlantic. I looked over on the globe of the United States and I saw coming out of the United States these radio communication towers. I saw the jagged lines that show that the communications are coming out. All of a sudden, they begin to sprinkle down on the earth like dust. I thought, oh no, oh no, they're not getting through. They're not getting through. They don't know what is happening. They were totally oblivious. Why? Because an EMP attack took out all of their electronics. In other words, we were blinded. All of our weapons are guided by GPS. Take out GPS, all of our weapons. Now, some of the military weapons have protections against this. I understand that. But if you take out our GPS satellites, matter of fact, recently there was a problem with the internet, and I had to go someplace. My phone wasn't working, the GPS on my phone. I live in the DFW area, and I thought, I don't even know how to get there. I can imagine if I'm there and I got to get back home, I wouldn't know how to get back home. Okay, let's see, what direction is the sun? So I bought a bunch of maps. So I've got maps, physical paper maps, to get me around where I need to go. Anyway, let's go on. Then I began to see all these submarines emerging from under the surface. I was surprised how close they were to our borders. They were in our territorial waters. He said it looked like they were sitting on our beaches. The missiles took less than 60 seconds from launch to detonation. I saw one hit Seattle, Bellevue, San Francisco, Los Angeles, San Diego, Miami, and Tampa. I saw 6 nuclear blasts that just literally leveled everything. I cried out and I said, oh God, when will this be and what will be the sign of its coming? I heard an audible voice speak to me and say, when Russia opens her doors and lets the masses go, the free world will occupy themselves with transporting, housing, feeding, and caring for the masses, and will let down their weapons and cry peace and safety. Then sudden destruction will come. Then is when it will come. And you can watch this at watchprophecyclub.com. You watch it right now, instantly. Watchprophecyclub.com. Matter of fact, I recommend you get this and all of these other dreams of it matter. Here's what's in this book. Dimitri Dudim's testimony, whole thing. All of his dreams and visions, most of Michael Boldea, most of the rest of these people, there's a few of the new ones we've got since it came out a couple of years ago. Michael Boldea, Leslie Johnson, Henry Gruver, Shane Warren, Terry Bennett, Maurice Sklar, Augusto Perez, Doug Metzger, Bree Keaton, and more. $20 a book, but we suggest you get 5 for $35. You want to have these books. And I haven't been talking about this book in a long time, but let me show you something that was really impressed upon me. So here's the story. We were in Friday night Bible study, and one of the congregation members brought this pastor in that was from out of town visiting, and she was trying to talk me into having him come in and speak and minister at the Prophecy Club. And she mentioned he gives personal prophecies. I said, okay, give me a personal prophecy. I recorded it, and the guy was right on. Here's part of what he said. I'm going to skip right down to it. He said, now he didn't even know I'd written a book on prophecy. He said, there is a lock that I put over a word in the book of Revelation that I'm going to open unto you. It will turn many books written on the end time message into obsolete books. That's this book. Now, what is obsolete? It means that, well, kind of like if you get your phone gets an update. Well, after a while, if you keep ignoring those updates, your phone or your car or whatever it is might not work. So what it's saying is this book right here makes, in my opinion, all of the other books on Bible prophecy obsolete. Why? Because they don't have the secret door. And these 2 charts in the back of the book, this one and this one, explain, well, this one explains the last 7 years. This one explains the last 7 months. And I show you with the secret door, and I'm not going to sit here and try to say this is on the order of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. It's not. But I'll also say it's not in the anointing order of Stan Johnson, because, there was a special anointing when I was writing this book. The story, in case you haven't heard, in 2017, I memorized the book of Revelation. I didn't think anything special was going to happen, but something special did start happening. I started getting revelations. Now, what's a revelation? It means that boom, just knowledge, just wisdom just pops into your head. Kind of like they didn't know how to make the Ark of the Covenant, but God just, boom, put that knowledge in their head. They didn't know how to grind the gemstones and to make the breastplate, but God showed it. They didn't know how to make the tabernacle, but God just, boom, just put that wisdom in their head. And that's what happened to me. I got 30 revelations, 2 visions, and an audible voice. The audible voice said, the 7 seals play over 7 years. The 7 trumpets play over 7 months. And the 7 vials play over 7 days. Now that puts this in the correct chronological order. So you can understand that's the book of Revelation. And then the secret door, first fruits, links the feasts to book of Revelation. It links them so that will give you the correct understanding of the last 7 months, or this chart. And I do not know of another way to understand this. I've tried to explain it to people, to live audiences. I put it on the Prophecy Club program several times. But one of the visions told me to write a book. He said, because some things, this is what was in the vision, some things cannot be learned by just audio and video. Some things must be read. You got to see the text, you got to see the map. So you need to write a book. So here's the book, okay? Get the book. $20 for one, but don't do that. They come in shrink wrap sets of 5. Get 5 for $35 at prophecyclub.com. But we have a better deal. You can get 10 of How Preacher Have Won. I wrote 4 of these books. I didn't write this one. I just assembled and printed this one, okay? But you get 10 of this one, 10 of this one, 5 of this one, 10 of this one, 5 of this one. Total of 40 books for $100. That's the best deal I've ever seen on prophecy. So you're going to have 5 copies of this. This one has missed the mark. This shows you what the mark of the beast looks like and what the number of his name looks like. And those are 2 different kinds of marks. And I would recommend you get this offer. Go and get this offer. And you can get any one of the books, but the best deal is get the whole offer. Okay, let me continue. So I thought this was a really good article. America, the end of the beginning, or the end. Mark Zuckerberg in Hawaii has a compound he had created, 5,000 square foot underground shelter. A spokesman for Zuckerberg said the couple are committed to preserving the ranch's natural beauty. While the location of the compound is public knowledge, only a select few have seen this compound. Mark Zuckerberg secretly bought an island in Hawaii. What? He bought a whole island in Hawaii and constructed a bunker the size of a small city known as Kulau. Ranching the property includes 2 mansions, a 5,000 square foot underground shelter, surrounding tree houses, and industrial-sized kitchen, and is valued at more than $270 million, according to Wired. The entire complex will also have its own energy and food supplies. Now, why am I showing you this? Do you think that Mark Zuckerberg might just know something? Do you think he might know the plans of the elite? You think he might know the things that the elite plans to do? I do. And what is he doing? He's making plans for food, water, to avoid the end of the world. Okay, so what that should be saying to us is we should have something to protect us from EMP. We should have some Joseph Kitchen wheat. We should have some gold and silver. We should have other things get prepared. The Lord told Leslie that she should tell people that they should get prepared. No one can prepare for every eventuality, but we should prepare as much as we possibly can. The article goes on to say the youngest member of the 20 richest billionaires, Zuckerberg, is estimated to be worth $71 billion. The co-founder and CEO of Facebook once said the following: "The biggest risk is not taking any risk." Let me read that again. The biggest risk is not taking any risk. Read it again. What's he saying? The biggest risk is not getting prepared. Isn't that what he's saying? The biggest risk is not being prepared. It's not taking any risk. In the world that is changing really quickly, the only strategy that is guaranteed to fail is not taking risks, or the way we would say it is not getting prepared. If you're not prepared, if you've not made any preparations, and you're saying, oh, I just trust in God, that you're not really trusting in God. You're really trusting in a system that we already know is about to go down. The article continues, the entire complex will also have its own energy and food supplies, meaning you should have energy supplies, food supplies, water filters, okay? You can bet his super-rich colleagues have made similar arrangements. What the country hasn't seen is a complete divide along racial and religious lines that blur common destiny. In other words, except for money, Americans can't agree on a future and might not even agree on whether there is a need for a country from sea to shining sea. He's saying that just like Rome fell, Persia fell, the Babylonian Empire fell. Well, he's saying that it's now time for the American Empire to fall. Sadly, I agree, but then there's going to be an everlasting empire rise, and Jesus is going to be the head of it. He says it could be a nuclear version of the Civil War in 1861. This time it's not going to be between North and South, or even East or West, or even left or right, or even Democrat or Republican. It's going to be between light and darkness. And guess what? Light wins. Go read Ezekiel 38 and 39. Jesus returns, and he destroys them with the breath of his nostrils when he blows his glory down. Okay, I think this is a couple more pages. Will America fall? And if so, when? Well, that is the $64 question. Roden wondered, will it collapse in November when a doddering Joe Biden is reelected? Or a Michelle Obama slips into the Oval Office? Or does it fall in 2025 when enough red states band together and close their borders? What's he saying? He's saying America is in the process of falling. How she falls, when she falls, he doesn't know. But he says America is in the process of falling. If Zuckerberg spends $271 million on an underground bunker, what should that be saying to us? The federal government has been preparing for mass insurrection. What's that? An internal revolution. Since the Bush years. Camps have been erected that could hold hundreds of thousands of civilians. Just like during the Civil War, there is no way that any president would allow the secession of the so-called flyover, the mass between the East Coast and West Coast. In other words, if it comes down to an internal revolution, they're just going to take over the country. For ages, empires have sought to rule a huge swath of this planet, but the baggage proves too much. That's how every empire ended, when an aging and corrupt giant became a prey for revival or for rivals, and that's where we are. And that's how an empire falls. Ask Jesus to forgive your sins. Get prepared. Get prepared. Let me talk about our three sponsors briefly. First, if you want to get gold or silver, we're going to send you to 800-200-GOLD or prophecyclubgold.com. prophecyclubgold.com. Second, if you want to get long-term emergency food, the only place I would send you to is josephskitchen.com. It is what I believe is God's long-term storage food. As you recall, Pharaoh and Joseph, what fed the world for 7 years was wheat. Most of your long-term storage places, $9,000 to $10,000 to feed one person for 1 year. Joseph's Kitchen can show you how to do it for about $1,000, one person, 1 year. And EMP Shield. If you want your car to start, if you want your computers to start after some kind of nuclear event, that's the device to get. And if you go to empshield.com and use the promo code PROPHECY, get your $50 discount and help your Prophecy Club.